Hey everybody, you probably don't remember an Olympic great named Mary Lou Retton, but I certainly do. Mary Lou Retton was the first great American female gymnast of the modern age. Before Mary Lou Retton, there was Nadia Comaneci, Russia, and when I grew up, all I saw was Russia taking home the gold medal again and again and again and again and again. And in '84, Mary Lou Retton basically put a stop to that. Mary Lou Retton at the time wasn't what you would consider to be, at that time, the normal gymnast, okay? She was the gymnast that she had muscular build, muscular legs, female bodybuilder look. Indeed, she had a look that today is not only normal, it's considered sexy. But then, say for a few people, it was a different story. But Mary Lou Retton took her focus and drive and supplanted the woman she watched score gold medal after gold medal after gold medal, Nadia Comaneci, under the man, Bella Caroli, who was Comaneci's coach. And along the way, she made her set of mistakes. But she had one saying. She had to focus and continued. Simone Biles arguably has soared beyond Mary Lou Retton, because as great as Mary Lou was, Simone Biles does maneuvers so exotic and so difficult because of her build, because of her musculature, that no one else tries to take them as their own. That's how good she is. For 10 years, Simone Biles has teased us with her perfection. So much so that she wasn't in the right headspace and did her teammates a favor by withdrawing. That was the right move, as much as I don't like it, or someone else, like Clay Travis. I'll get to Clay in a second. But can't overshadow her many accomplishments at all, and the standard she set for many. At a time in society where we're truly open about our backgrounds and our fears, as well as our successes. Like many people, she came from an unusual family, a mixed family, an interracial family. She's had a number of setbacks along the way, growing up. And she's only 24. And get this, she is facing something that Mary Lou Retton, okay? She is facing something that Mary Lou Retton never had to face. And what she's facing is social media. That's right. Mary Lou Retton didn't have a blog to follow during the 80s, or the 90s for that matter. She didn't have video blogs. She didn't have Pounce, then Twitter, then Facebook, then Instagram, or MySpace before that. She didn't have to go on her phone, her smartphone, like the one that I'm using, and pick it up and then read something about her that might be unpleasant. And remember, Mary Lou Retton was unusual for her time, okay? Mary Lou Retton was unusual for her time. Completely unusual. So here comes Clay Travis, and I don't normally make this kind of vlog, but I felt compelled to after what he did on Twitter, taking basically every black person that he can think of who's an athlete that did something he didn't like but doesn't know anything about, and lumps them all into one bow, forgetting the great number of black athletes that have done extraordinary things. Giannis Antetokounmpo, for example, or any number, even the last few weeks, forgetting them, but just choosing to just cherry pick and come up with a narrative that was racist, okay? Completely racist, all right? And for anybody to look at Mary Lou Retton and think that, hey, she's got something, different about her because of her skin color as opposed to, her musculature, right? Never looked at Mary Lou Retton. They said the same thing about Mary Lou Retton, and Mary Lou Retton is white. Again, if you don't know who Mary Lou Retton is, shut up. Just please shut up. Because you don't have a length. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, son. You don't have a length or breadth of experience in history to be able to put what Simone Biles has done and is doing in the proper context. And neither does Clay Travis. Where was Clay 15 years ago? Nowhere. Where was he? Nowhere, okay? Jason Whitlock is well paid because he's black and he talks about other black people. And a Pew study recently revealed something that I've always known, which is basically that media that is created by white people in America is consumed by white people in America. Well, duh. In other words, if you don't reflect a white point of view, which at times can be against African American advancement, guess what? You're not going to get paid. Of course, today, it's easier to, make your headway and maneuver around that racism in the past, all right? But now, we still have the people like Jason Whitlock out there doing that. But my focus is on Clay Travis. Because Clay Travis did something on social media that, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, I'm all for free speech. He stripped from him so that he can basically go out on the street and say what he wants to say, in the middle of the sidewalk and just not get paid for it. He tried to compare Simone Biles with Deshaun Watson and his problems, forgetting that of the supposed 22 lawsuits, the vast majority of them are bogus. Do you realize that not just the Ashley person that showed up, but at least 10 other lawsuits were based on massage activities that really were illegal, because the state of Texas, where most of them occurred, and the state of California happened to have restrictions because of the coronavirus at the time. Did Tony Busby bother to check that out? No, but I did. And I've held my powder on that aspect of what I found, and I'm going to release it soon. I was waiting for the right time. I think it's the right time to do so, considering we're nearing the start of the season and we're in the training camp. There are people that have public relations organizations that are designed to take on assignments where they specifically discredit black public officials and black celebrities. Why? Because their clients paying them, for some crazy reason, think that America is better off if they have an incorrect, gauche, and racist point of view of African Americans. Check out the organizations that are around. Look around at what's going on online. Internet-based content and creation. And look with an eye that is unflinching. You'll be shocked at what you find. And then look at people who are paying, okay? Who are paying, all right? Paying to have events like the Capitol insurrection happen. Do you realize that one of the major donors of the Capitol insurrection was Harris from the family that owns the public markets chain? This stuff is nuts. Divide and conquer. Make the people think that, yeah, black over here and white over here, when in point of fact, we're really integrated, right? And all of us have somebody else in our family tree and our bloodline, right? That's the truth. Forget all that. You have these idiots that, for some particular reason, want us divided. Do you realize that racism costs our country, costs our country money, economically? That's right. Very simple reason. Let's say you've got 5 different places to invest, okay? You don't know where the best investment's going to be, so you do a study. But let's say someone comes along and convinces you that there's something wrong with these 2 areas just because they're black. So guess what? You don't look at them. So because you didn't look at them, because you believed the racist, what did you get? You missed the fact that these 2 areas had government incentive programs and tax incentive programs that would have gained you a greater return on your investment had you not listened to the racist and went toward them. See what I'm getting at? Bottom line in economics, they teach this to you. Never close out an opportunity. Racism causes you to do that. Think about it. What Clay Travis said was baseless, stupid, ridiculous, awful, assholish, gauche, and just plain dumb. Why the people who give him money think that's okay can only be explained by the idea that maybe you get lucky in one aspect of life. It doesn't mean that you're great at everything else, and it doesn't mean that you're a good person. There's an old saying, just because you can do a thing doesn't mean you should do that thing. If that thing is for her, remember Gabby Douglas? Represented and represent the unshackling of mental chains. Think about it. That say, because I'm black, I can't do a sport that other people think a white person can do. That's ridiculous. But it's a mental illness that we as African Americans are injected with almost from birth. It's going away rapidly. Look at all the commercials with all different types of folks, and with black men married to white women, and white men married to black women, and Asian women married to black men, and you get the idea, okay? That is America. I never thought I would see America properly reflected in popular culture on television. We see it now, thanks to this device, which gives us the real world and forces entertainment producers to keep up with what we really see, because they're producing something for a screen. The real world. It's exciting. It's awesome. If you see Simone Biles, thank her like that, because she deserves a medal for leading us toward the kind of America we need to be. An America which says to anyone, regardless of color, you can do it. You can do it. Yeah, there's some people who are happy the Russians won because, Russians are all white girls, Sad. I should say white teenagers. Sad. Some of them happen to live in America. You might see one of them on the American side That's the reality, folks. But keep this in mind for those of you who are out there and may just have that kind of little screw-up-tick thing in your head. I remind you that before today, America was on top and showed a diverse team in doing so. We've had black swimmers, we've had black skiers, golfers, okay? That's the way it should be, and that's the way that everybody should want it. In fact, it was the reason why many people voted for Barack Obama. Barack Obama was like the guy that you knew in high school. Everybody knew the guy in high school that you might think of, and I think of, like Derek Jackson in my case, for example, should be the class president, right? He was black. No one cared. That's how it was for me in the 70s. Nobody cared about that. And my point is that the 70s and the 80s and 90s they're not as bad as people might cause you to think. There were good times there too. I argue that today, in fact, in some ways, we're backsliding. No. There's beauty in different types of people doing different types of things. Because what happens is that you learn more about yourself by meeting people. Yeah, I remember I was in Las Vegas a couple of years ago, the NFL meeting, and I took a break, actually to CES, and I was at Cosmopolitan with my friends, and we were singing Grease. And a white girl actually got mad that I was singing Grease. That's how screwed up some of us are. You know what I did? I sang louder. Grease is the word that you heard. Couldn't believe it. Grease is the word. Oh, man, that's right. Love that song. It's got groove, it's got meaning. She got mad that and she could have sang herself. Boring, 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 okay? Boring. Joseph Business says, hey, Zinni, hope you're doing well. Biles showed her maturity with a wise decision to put her mental health first. Just like Naomi Osaka, she made sure to take care of herself. Mature young women. That's right. And Godfather says, Paramount Plus is doing a miniseries about the Pink Ladies right before they go on. Check them out. Hey, I think Netflix has a documentary about Simone Biles. No, excuse me, about Naomi Osaka too, right? Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Or maybe, a black guy that didn't care about singing. And maybe I was with all of my other friends who are white. Whatever the case. Oh. I love digging it in. Because I've loved that song for years. I just love digging it in. Yeah, I'm singing it. Okay? Yeah. God forbid I told her how old I was. Anyway, my point is this. Racism is a mental illness. Clay Travis exhibits that mental illness when he takes the actions that he does. That's a fact. Subscribe to Zinni62. Bookmark OaklandNewsNow.com. We'll be back tomorrow. Sean, thank you for the 35 bomb, man. Much appreciated. We'll see you.